Well, a little more than you, Chris. I'm here to live one day. I'm Chris to know. Let's make a podcast, boy. Come on now, what do you say? Well, while it was past that beat, bounce that nail with a tyranny's eye. Feeling a story that people tell each other from Louisiana the other mind to the city of Vermont. Oh, you mean urban legends? On the podcast, it's Urban Legends with Neil and Chris.
Hello and welcome to Urban Legends, the Wild West podcast about such things as the Yowie, lovely, the Loch Ness Monster, and maybe even a melon-headed child. I am and forever will be Turkish holidaymaker Chris Flynn, and with me it's Mr.
Neil Herbert. How are you finding Turkey, Chris? Weather I assume is nice.
No, it's a bit on and off.
Oh, really? So a bit like home then. Warm, but a bit rainy at the moment.
Yeah, it's exactly that. But but I made friends with a pack of dogs, so that's good, isn't it? So I believe that you, almost in kind of celebration of me, have looked up a Turkish urban legend.
I have. Well,
it's very nice of you.
I mean, it's crossing over into so it crosses into a much larger urban legend. So I'll ask you this: have you? And we'll be going to an article in the Irish Times in a minute. Nothing wrong with that. But we'll. Have you seen any UFOs out there, Chris?
Have I? No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did see, which was a bit disconcerting. I got
more disconcerting than Uncle Fester's cafe.
Yeah, it is more disconcerting. I got up out of bed this morning, went to have a cigarette on the balcony, and I saw a drone flying around. So, don't know whether that's
see what's going on.
Well, I don't mind if they're having a peek at me. Like, you know, I've got nothing to hide, literally. But I don't know, like, kind of a drone sort of flying around hotels.
Just keeping an eye. Make sure you're
not saying anything about drone police.
Uncle Erdogan that you shouldn't be. Nothing disrespectful, and it's all, nothing to hide.
Well, you don't know. The thing is with drones is like
nothing to worry about.
Well, So UFOs.
So we're not going to go through the whole sort of UFO urban myth thing, but I think we'll go. We're going to have a look at.
We're not going through every UFO encounter.
No, we're not apparently. But maybe we'll do a whole series on that once, Chris. But we're just going to.
Well, I'll be honest with you. The Hopkinsville Goblins episode has currently had no listens, so maybe we should stay clear of it.
Fair enough. Well, if that involves me looking up something else, well, do you know what? It's not a trend until you get three. So this is number 2. Let's see if we ever do a third one, then we'll know. And if
we need 100 data points. So
yeah, so let's do two back-to-back, 4 back-to-back series about UFOs. see if we can drive our listeners even further into the ground. No, so this is. I
don't like the fact that you said listeners with a plural.
Yeah. Well, it could just be us.
Hi, Scott.
For the Irish Times, UFO spotting Turkish night watchman regards aliens as the world's policeman. With his neatly clipped moustache and checked shirt buttoned up to his neck, 51-year-old Yeltsin Yelman doesn't look like a typical translator.
What, Meowsy Meowman? Yeah. Is he one of those? Like, is he one of those cat policemen like they have in Japan?
So, right, okay, I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly. You've got absolutely no stones to throw in the fucking glass house you're living in.
What are you talking about? My Turkish is second to none.
Yeltsin Yelman is how I'm pronouncing that. I don't know.
Mousy Meowman. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's how you're choosing to interpret.
That's what you said.
Yeltsin.
Oh, Yeltsin.
Yalcin. Yeah. Fuck's sake. Can we just move past his name? Can we just do that? That's possible.
So the UFO spotting cat policeman, Meowsy Meowsman.
Yeah, if you like.
Okay.
I don't have the energy. It's fine. 51-year-old Turkish security guard, yeah? So he's at a conference centre where more than 1,000 people had paid 35 lira to listen to him.
Which is exactly, at the moment, £1.50.
Okay, so this was $16. Oh, 16 euros, excuse me, 10 years ago, apparently.
Yeah, 70% inflation, mate.
Inflation has absolutely done a number on that. But it was apparently a handsome sum by local standards to listen to him and ufologists from around the world to reveal their latest findings. Holding cups of watery coffee, selling at an extortionate 3 lira. So that's probably all right now, isn't it, because of the inflation?
Like, literally, you basically you pay everything by cash and you just go, no, don't worry about the coins because they're worthless.
Yeah.
So
they just evaporate. It's like out of that photo in Back to the Future. It's like
they just disappear in your hands. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So some elegantly dressed Turkish ladies with word-perfect English peppered speakers with questions from far afield as Mexico.
Peppered them?
Peppered them with questions about 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar. Nobody talks about that anymore, do they? This is back in 2009 when people... supposedly there was like the Mayan...
like it's the end of this cycle of the universe.
Well, exactly. I mean, the whole point was their calendar was cyclical, and then they just would have invented another one if they needed to. They had but 2012. That was
what's happened there, Neil, is you've got a very basic knowledge of the Mayan calendar, and you've added reason to your sentence, and that isn't really what doomsday people like to do.
No, I quite admire. I mean, I remember when we were on a.
There's lots of
we were watching the Three Angels Broadcasting Network.
Yes,
and we got ourselves properly rapture ready on that occasion.
Was rapture ready, Neil? Were you?
Well, absolutely. Now and forever, we'll be rapture ready. But
well, we also while we were travelling around the Greek islands, sacrificed a Jimmy Nails CD to the gods.
Yeah. Well, it didn't. I mean, nothing of value was harmed. So
I've
forgotten about that. They did not have particularly good taste in that rental cottage, did they? No, it was some of it. I can't remember what the literature was on offer, but it was fucking.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, Neil. I like to consider myself, pretty by the book, law abiding. I know you're a bit of a crazy guy, like a young Tom.
I'm going to take it,
like a young Tom Hanks or something. But you're like young Tom Hanks. I'm like Dan Aykroyd because of UFOs, but also because of the remake of Dragnet,
the wacky Dragnet film, yeah.
And
I bet that's going to be hilarious in the third act when it suddenly reverses.
Yeah, and you made me have a Mohican and do a dance because I'm straight laced, and then we sacrifice a Jimmy Nail CD to the gods. I'll be honest with you, I've ever since we sacrificed that Jimmy Nail CD to the pagan gods, God hasn't spoken to me. So, be careful, people.
He speaks to me quite often, but it's in a very strong Geordie accent. Next, I'm going to let Saudi Arabia buy up my football club. See if that convinces you.
Oh, why not, eh?
Yeah.
Why not? Best fans in the world.
Big club.
Biggest club in the world.
Right. Let's not fall out with any more people.
By the way, fuck you, Wales.
Yeah, we see you.
I'm only joking. Yeah. Do you know what? Fuck everyone who doesn't live in Brighton and Hove.
And all the insufferable pricks who live in Brighton and Hove.
And all of them as well. Fuck them too. Anyone who doesn't live in my flat and I live on my own, fuck them. I include you in that, Neil, and I'm sorry.
I include you in that. I include anyone if there's anyone still listening to this.
You've been dragged under by the tide. I'm sorry. My cats are all right, though.
No. Plot against you.
Wankers.
They're up to something.
Don't get no regard.
Right, let's move on to paragraph 4. I think it's so long in between paragraphs that I've got no sense of what connection.
No, I don't know. Apparently, some elegant Turkish women peppered him with
We're
questions.
at a conference centre where people have paid to watch a security man talk
The
about
entire-
UFOs. It's a bit like a Beckett play, but you know. Now, introducing our next character.
Yeah, and it costs
well-known
£1.50 to
ufologist
go to.
Nick Pope, former head of the UK Defence Ministry's UFO desk.
That guy. Yeah,
One of the
he's always...
speakers at the conference.
He's on the History Channel quite a lot.
One of the speakers at the conference confessed himself amazed at the turnout. Ufology has a bit of an image problem back home. Computer nerds, train spotters, you know. But that's not the sense
I don't equate UFO stuff with train spotting, do you?
Well, Nick Pope does, so. Yeah.
Well, and obviously we put our best man on the UFO desk in the UK.
You can't afford to fuck about with into
It's going to. Do you know what? It's going to take too much money. But he's working in the civil service 20 years. It's going to cost too much money to make him redundant. That's UFO desk.
Look, you mock Chris, you mock.
Yeah. But yes, I do.
It'll be like, you know, when we all got
Regularly
smug about when we almost got the bugle up on Mars, didn't we? Except it didn't actually work. And we would have been really insufferably smug about it if we got up there. Do you not remember this? The
instrument.
British scientists tried to fire up. So NASA were basically doing the Mars rover, and spent loads and loads of money, and we just got a bunch of blokes with beards and just tie something to a fucking balloon or whatever and go, pump that towards the moon, give it a go. But then the papers are all like, oh yeah,
Mars bounds.
Yeah. It's like, well, you know, if this works, we'll have done it at like, you know, I don't know, a million price that NASA did it or whatever. And of course,
they're working out of the back
moon or whatever.
They were working out of the back room of Real Ale Pub.
Yeah. They were definitely camera members.
Oh dear.
Good luck to them. But
don't no, come on. Like if there's one people that we can alienate, it's camera.
I don't know. I quite like the Evening Star in Brighton, so I don't think I can afford to alienate camera members.
I don't love it.
It's too small, but it's got some good beer in there.
Got all wankers in there as well.
It's Brighton, man.
Yeah, I know, but like that's. So you're from Britain, yeah. All right,
I accept I'm a wanker.
Probably a bit of a wanker, yeah. But and also you're a member of camera. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you layering the level of wank?
Each to their own, sir. I say, going off on my penny farthing,
chucking a Moody Blues tape. Listen to this and change your life.
No, it'd be Gregorian plainchant, wouldn't it?
The King Singers.
I just happen to like it, you know.
I just like the King Singers.
In my opinion, music peaked in the 13th century. I remember when I was a teenager, I was at university, actually, met a guy at a party, and it was like, one of those conversations like, yeah, no, I mean, there's no music's worth listening to after 1969. It's like, yeah, I'm going to stop having this conversation.
The thing is, right?
let's not exhaust either of our patience. I don't need to know whatever you've got to say next.
Yeah,
I'm just going to sit in the corner and finish my wine.
I've deleted your face from my brain. So I didn't go to university. My grades were too high. They wouldn't allow me into any. They said, you don't need it. You don't need university. Do you know what? It'd be a waste of your time and our resources. So it sounds like, because you've got stories and stuff like that, and it sounds like they sound fun, but I imagine it was actually quite boring for most of it. Because it's fun, like, oh yeah, like this guy was a prick, and it's like, but actually it's really quite annoying at the time.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing, because actually the people at the party, like, I remember chatting to the guy that was at Matt, and like he'd sort of telling me afterwards when we were going down the pub, because it was, well, I'll tell you what it was. It's one of those where it's at the tail end of the party, and I had very little money at the time, so I bought the Happy Shopper 4-litre bottle of wine that tasted
the black-eyed kids Happy Shopper vinegar wine.
And it's like, well, I'm not leaving until I finish that, but it was so hard to drink. I was sort of there until about 2 o'clock in the morning, and this guy,
really,
this guy,
it can't have been that hard to drink.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was less practiced in those days, I guess. Anyway,
Maybe, yeah. You were just a little lad back then.
Yeah.
But do you want to tell the listeners about the pub cheese man?
I don't remember this pub cheese man.
You were saying there was there was a guy who used to say.
Oh no! Okay, I'll finish this one off and then I'll get on to that. That was when I was doing postgrad. So yeah, and he sort of said to me, it just made him laugh basically because it's like the very second you finished off your wine, you're like, right, got to leave now, bye. Bye. Straight out the door, and I was like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. It's just there was this insufferable idiot who I had to talk to. Yeah, and it's just like,
and then we ended up doing a podcast. So,
exactly. But yeah,
you never know people. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's that thing where you're at a party half an hour too long. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like everyone's a bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of winded down, and it's kind of like, oh, actually, it's time to go.
Was it a sausage fest?
Oh yeah, I mean, by that point, I think it was. Yeah, it's having deep conversations about Pink Floyd or whatever.
Oh dear. The thing is, I really like music, but I don't like talking about it all that much.
Well, but again, if you're like 18, 19, then I think you're still finding your identity a bit, and you get quite passionate about these things, and it's excusable at that age. I think until you're 23, maybe. I think it's it's okay. I'll
be honest with you, Neil. I'm still finding my identity now. That's in many ways why I've come to Turkey.
Well, yeah. So you do.
I think I might be a UFO cat man. So we'll find out, won't we?
But yeah, the cheese in the pub thing. I mean, it's not a particularly great story, to be honest with you. But it was just a thing. We're all just sat there having a pint in the student bar, and there was one person who reckoned they were. Actually, was it celiac? Was it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Say that word. Can't remember exactly what the word is. But and unfortunately for him, someone else in our lab who did have that condition.
Yeah,
pointed out there were
called him out.
He would he couldn't have done if he, or maybe he had some minor. I don't know. I don't want to. Because he was a nice enough chap. He had some slightly.
At the end of the day, now,
behaviours.
Did this person sit in the pub eating a block of cheese?
Literally, we're sat in the pub. We're just having a few pints, and then presumably felt a bit hungry, like you might get a bag of crisps or something like that. He pulled out what estimate was like half a block of cheese, like 250 grams or so, and just started chowing down. And it's like, I'm not sure. And we're all just kind of looked at each other and like, what do we say? And it's kind of like
nothing.
Like, oh, you a bit hungry then?
Are you a bit hungry then?
And he explained that, yeah, he had, he's a celiac or whatever. So then
he explained that he's made up.
His doctor has advised him that he should, eat half a block of cheese if he's on the beer or whatever. It's like, that sounds like bullshit. I'm not going to call you out on it.
I'd quite like him to be my doctor, but you've got cancer. Probably have some cocaine.
You just got to ride through it.
Yeah.
See, what people do is
what you got to do is you got to confuse the cancer cells.
Yeah, they give up and then they start having chemotherapy. When you think about it, what is chemotherapy? You just put in more toxins and poison on top of the cancer. So why not just beer and cocaine instead?
Yeah, which is
if you think about it, it's the same
which is a natural. It's from a plant. Yeah. So I mean, it might be cooked up in petrol, but at the end of the day,
if anything, go twice as hard now.
You probably would if you had cancer, wouldn't you?
It's a bit like it's a bit like you drive into a swerve, don't you?
Steer into a swerve. Yeah.
Yes. Questionable medical advice with Neil and Chris. So moving on to the second part of paragraph 4.
Right. So peppering.
No. We've got on to ufology having an image problem. Computer nerds and train spotters. Oh, but that's not the sense he gets in Turkey. Does old Nick?
No. Have you ever been train spotting?
No, I never have. I've never been tempted.
Well, no, because
I can understand.
Is it because trains are boring?
Yeah. There's something I don't know. There's something vaguely depressing around train stations. When I used to smoke, that was when you could do it. That was when I used to do it most. Was when I was hanging out waiting for a train.
Yeah.
There's something I don't know. Not even like waiting for a bus, or whatever. I don't mind because you're in the town centre. But hanging around a train platform, there's always just everyone's impatient, a bit unhappy. I don't know. grey platform.
And there's
something
whether we know it or
Grey
not, there's a vague sense of threat because train lines are deadly. Whereas, like, waiting for a bus, roads aren't made of electric, so you're fine. But trains are. So I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I think that I've always got in the back of my mind a slight worry that someone's just going to push me in front of a train.
So you know, and he's saying there's an equal balance between men and women. I think Nick Pope became a ufologist to pick up ladies,
pick up chicks.
Yeah. And
I
think he got a bit worried. He was backing the wrong horse until he got out to Turkey.
So maybe that's all right. Shall I see if there's a UFO conference in Bodrum or something?
You're going to be doing some field research, aren't you? So just, you know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go and speak to the dogs. But, yeah.
So
do you think the dogs will push me in front of a train?
I wouldn't put it past them.
No.
So yeah, apparently UFO sightings.
It's very much like House of Cards. If you try and ingratiate yourself in a dog collective, I believe they're called.
Dog eat dog world. I've heard, Chris. So you know.
Oh, wow.
Do you think dogs ever eat other dogs? I don't think it is a dog eat dog world.
I don't think it is. I've never seen a dog eat another dog.
Exactly.
No. I've seen a dog eat a chop,
yeah,
but not a dog chop.
I've seen a dog eat my fence.
I've been bitten in the eye by a dog, but I'm not a dog, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where to take this next, to be honest with you, Chris, because we're not going to get through this article. I mean, basically, I mean, he's filmed these lights in the sky.
Yes,
and it does look kind of like a flying saucer with a couple of little alien fellas.
That's the thing which red flags it for me. It's got a couple of little. But so are they? Is it?
Right,
like, is it out the window, or like are they? Like, is it meant to be transparent?
Yeah, well, you think it's kind of like almost like a. Yeah, it looks like they're just popping their head out and going, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
do you know where the parking is round here?
Where's KFC?
Yeah, where's the KFC? Where? Right, round there, all right, yeah. No, she wants a couple of chicken thighs. All right, ta-ta, TTFN.
Right, okay.
Neil, are all UFOs from Sheffield?
Apparently, yeah.
Right, okay. Well, that's where they make the best steel, isn't it? There in Damascus.
Exactly, yeah. You'd want good Sheffield steel in order to deal with the strains of intergalactic flight.
Transdimensional flight, yeah. Right, I'm going to quickly blow my nose because you're typing away.
Yeah, I'm trying to paste the picture into the chat.
You know, one thing which always slightly amuses me in Turkey is, so, you know, like if you go into a shop and normally there's one person behind the till and then they go money, blah, blah. In Turkey, what happens is there's 3 people behind the till.
Okay.
And it takes 15 minutes for you to buy a bottle of Coke.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just, it's probably a bit more manana, isn't it? They're not as hurried as we are, just, constantly trying to scoot about and time and all that nonsense. So I couldn't post a photo, so I've just sent you the link.
Yeah, I've sent the link.
So if you look,
I mean, that's just a manta ray, isn't it? A manta ray.
But he's in the sky.
Yeah, in the sky. Yeah, manta rays can fly.
If you see on the left-hand side as well, see the photo is called something like "Pin on Alien Stuff" from Pinterest. Apparently somebody's done some analysis of the photos.
Okay, it's less glowing than you led me to believe, which makes it more believable.
I mean, it's because you see the video as well, and it's interesting. I mean, it looks like a flying saucer. The funny thing with the whole flying saucer thing is that was apparently that was an early. Someone had said that it was flying like a saucer skimming over water, but didn't actually say it was saucer shaped. But some journalist wasn't listening to this nutter, so he just said, "Oh, flying saucers."
So
that's where that comes from.
So the aliens are meant to be kind of in a central cockpit.
Yeah. I mean, it's
unlikely.
kind of the equivalent of like somebody in a Cessna airplane or something like that.
Yeah, which instantly makes you think. I mean, probably not.
I mean, I'm not saying that I looked at this picture and thought, yeah, definitely aliens.
Well, that is how you're coming across.
Well, I'm just trying to keep a bit of drama and interest. So, Chris, I'm just trying desperately to find some hook.
Mate, you're only like 2 sentences in, and we've done like 3 hours. You're fine. This is already gold.
Fair enough. There's right. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So yeah, it's actually now it's starting to spread as well. So we've got the.
Ooh. What like the rumours or the UFO?
Well, no, just saying, those films. So Mousy Man's films that he put up.
Mr. Meow.
Yeah, Meow Mouseman. His they're a turning point for
Detective Inspector.
Yeah, the Great Mouse
Detective.
Detective.
Mouseman, I think
the Turkish Great Mouse Detective is described as his films are a turning point for Turkish UFO studies. Now, this chap, he set up the Istanbul office of the Serious UFOs Space Science Studies Centre that he set up in 1997.
What's its name?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Do you think that that's a prestigious, large establishment, Chris, or do you think it's like 3 blokes with plates?
I would imagine that they probably get funded from the same place that I get funded, the Black Ops budget from the CIA, yeah.
Yeah, the Men in Black are sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
But they want to cover it up, wouldn't they?
I mean, why would they be going after Dan Aykroyd if they weren't trying to, let some of it come out?
Yeah. Well, they convinced me to think that Dan Aykroyd talks like an absolute lunatic, so, they've clearly got an agenda.
I think Dan Aykroyd's an alien.
I'd quite like to buy some of that vodka.
Dan Aykroyd vodka.
Well overpriced. That Crystal Head vodka. I do think having a bottle shaped like a skull is quite cool, actually.
There we go. Midlife crisis. Yeah, you're going to get a motorbike as well, are you, princess?
Yeah. A leather jacket.
With a jacket, yeah.
Going to join a gang.
You're going to rejoin Urigella's motorcycle gang?
No, I can't.
Are you doing it for you or are you doing it for the club now?
I'll set my own one up. So, well, no, apparently, so it's not just educated Turks, Chris. It's also
uneducated Turks.
The rural community are getting on the game as well. So when an alien appeared in front of a farmer outside of the southwestern Turkish village of Nali in 2001, the farmer responded in time-honoured style. He threw rocks at the creature until it shot into the air to the height of a minaret and disappeared.
The one thing they weren't expecting. No, you can defend yourself against lasers, but how about rocks?
But 7 years later, when a UFO reappeared in the same village, it was met by cameras, not stones.
Oh, well,
they're like, oh, okay, maybe,
Things move on, don't they? It's nice.
That's good.
I'd like to know a bit more of the backstory of the rock throwing guy. I mean, does he throw rocks at other stuff?
I'd quite like the Irish Times to give me some sort of... Because apparently there's been 2 actual contacts.
Really?
The first contact has already happened in Istanbul, and there seems to be absolutely no evidence for this happening. Right. But it's in the Irish Times, so there you go.
Probably Murdoch probably owns it.
And this year, the most striking UFO revelations have come from members of Istanbul's showbiz scene. A singer who represented Turkey at the Eurovision Song Contest in '91.
Yeah, I remember.
Told Turkish newspapers last month how a prawn-coloured alien had plucked her from her bed one night and taken her on a whistle-stop tour of Earth. They were very friendly, she said, of the inhabitants of the spacecraft.
Prawn-coloured was this?
A prawn-coloured alien, yeah.
I mean, you could just use the word pink.
Do you reckon, well, I don't know, do you reckon it was an uncooked prawn or a cooked prawn?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Like, tell us the colour. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like saying a horse-coloured
I'm going to guess kind of pink, but yeah, apparently they communicated using their thoughts. And then a couple of days later, a Turkish pop singer and presenter, who's a household name in Turkey, told Cracker and a talk show audience that she'd seen a UFO from the balcony of her villa too. I mean, they're all over Turkey by the looks of it.
Well, it seemed to be quite a lot kicking around Istanbul.
Yeah. So I think, yeah.
Well, yeah, it used to be the centre of the world, didn't it, Istanbul?
You get out and about, we might have a part two here where you go and have a ride with some little grey fellas.
Prawn-coloured.
Yeah, or prawn-coloured, yeah.
I mean, I've seen quite a lot of prawn-coloured English people out there. So it does seem to be like quite Istanbul centric. Obviously, that's the biggest city.
This is all based in.
It's not the capital, though, Neil. It's not the capital.
No. I mean, yeah, the sightings did originally around Kumburgaz, but I think that's near to Istanbul, and so that was where they went for the conference, and other people in Istanbul had seen them as well. So his closing thoughts, the great mouse detective. He sees them as the world's policemen, up there to keep an eye on us, he said, taking a puff of his cigarette.
Thoughts.
I only wish they'd come down for a chat, and then we could drink tea and play a few rounds of backgammon. That's nice.
Well, I mean, you'd have to teach them backgammon first.
They'd just scan your head with a ray or something, wouldn't they? Then?
Get your backgammon.
I've seen that.
Get the backgammon rules out your nut.
Seen that John Travolta space movie.
Do you like backgammon?
I've never properly played it.
Oh.
I hear it's very good, but no, I kind of like, I did have a backgammon board and I sort of taught myself to play, but I've never actually played it. Used to play checkers sometimes and chess.
Yeah, I know. We've played chess maybe 3 times and you've won every time.
Really? Not that good.
Well, all right. Yeah. What does that say about me then?
Shit.
Yeah.
No, I know the opening moves, but I don't know any kind of like mid-game, end-game stuff.
I don't know any moves. I
literally more or less learned one opening thing. And
I believe it's an incredibly good tactic with chess, but I play on instinct. Yeah. Just go with my gut. Do you know what? Like the thing is, like with chess, it's one of those that you have to really concentrate on. So I think when we've played, we've been in like on holiday essentially, and probably what my mind was going to was my beer's nearly finished, so I maybe wasn't concentrating very hard. But nonetheless, chess is a all right game. I don't know, but you've got to really want to play it. It's not kind of like table tennis.
To get to any kind of like decent level, you kind of like it's not just practice, but you've got to sort of study a little bit as well. Like, know different mid-game strategies and end-game strategies and all of this sort of stuff. Because there's so much of it that's been around for years. But
I'm very good at poker. I'm very good at poker for some reason. I don't know why.
I've not played poker for years.
I've played in some money games of poker and I've always won. But I don't know why that is. I just go with my gut. I think my brain just kind of figures out stuff. Like not the front part of my brain, just thinking where's the next beer, but the back end, the workhorse part of my brain kind of figures out that's probably a good hand. Something like that. Just bluff it. Anyway, this is all interesting stuff. So is this UFO with the 2 lads?
So that
in
is
the cockpit.
This is pretty much what we're exploring. So just to wrap up, then I'll go into here's one of the explanations, because you'll get people. I mean, I can only find definitive. I can only find there were a few Reddit threads, but There's no definitive debunking or anything of these. And to be honest with you, compared to a lot of the things you say, there is a video. It's interesting. I don't believe it's a UFO, but it's or actually there's more than one video, and so there's it's and I think I'll buy into the concept to an extent of I can believe in a UFO to the extent that yes, it's an unidentified unidentified what the object is. You can theorise what it might be, but you don't truly know what's causing that particular phenomenon that you're looking at. But anyway, so here's the theory, and it looks like a perfectly reasonable one. So actually, what they think, because it's a very busy kind of like shipping lane.
Yeah, it's busiest in the world.
Yeah, and
no, that's the Suez Canal.
Yeah, I think I might have read on this Reddit thread that it was even busier than the Suez Canal. But anyway, it's up there in terms of traffic. I don't know. So
Neil, have you gotten over the Suez crisis yet? I know I haven't.
No, I mean that was what ended us as a
major player
on the world stage. Thankfully. Yeah, no, I'll never forgive. Was Anthony Eden was president at the time? Was it?
Keep his fucking name out of your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, you reminded me of Will Smith there.
I know. Well, it's because
Thatcher coming up and slapping or something.
Yeah, finally.
Keep Eden's name out of your fucking mouth.
The woman's not for gurning.
Yeah.
No. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to look for it.
No, this is a zero effort podcast, as we've said many a time. So they think it could be basically the windows on the yacht. So they have that kind of like almost like saucer shaped windows that you've got on a kind of like a small yacht, on the side windows, and the reflection of light off of that at night could sort of project up into the sky.
Right.
Because I'll read out exactly what he says actually. So we can summarise the probable characteristics of these alleged UFOs to suggest a specific hypothesis. The objects are straight or just slightly bent specular surfaces. They are different designs for them. They could be part of a bigger object that can't be seen given the circumstances.
Steampunk, that's one of them.
Yep, steampunk. They have little skeletons and steampunk pipes coming from them. They are possibly...
Cyberpunk, that's another one.
Yep, Billy Idol's riding in it. You can see he's there.
Medieval punk.
They are possibly sheets of transparent material. They're probably in the sea. So all of that takes us to the following hypothesis: the objects are literal shark or moth-style windows in some boats or small yachts.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable. But anyway, there's various things and various kind of like optical phenomenon where you could, something can appear up in the sky. So it was being lit up or whatever, or within the light of the thing, that could sort of, appear to be sort of riding. But if you actually just look at the video themselves, it's quite, it is interesting.
Good.
It's certainly a lot better than some of these kind of UFO videos that you might see. So there you go. Turkey, the new centre for UFOs.
Yes, the Bosphorus Strait. So what I thought I might do is read a UFO encounter out to spice things up a bit.
Nice.
So,
I won't stop.
I'm going to do it in the accent of a London Ute.
I would probably advise you not to do that, but
your objections are noted. The encounter abroad. This is a family story I've heard only twice. I can't remember how it was brought up in the first time. But the explanation was very vague, so I asked again a few months later when my family had come together at a cottage during the summer. They seemed kind of iffy about talking about it, but provided more details. How's it going so far, now? Good.
My toes are curling slightly, but yes.
They live in the Ukraine, but took a trip to Turkey sometime in the 90s. They had rented a little cottage there, and it was far enough into the countryside to be considered fairly remote. Long story short, one evening the dogs outside started going absolutely crazy. barking viciously, and just overall behaving erratic. One of them, my grandma's brother, I believe, went outside to check on what was going on.
Got a bit South African now.
One of them, my grandmother, my grandmother's brother, I believe, went outside to check what was going on. He saw what can only be described as a UFO nearing the cottage. Pretty high up in the sky, but lowering a bit as it came closer. He called for the rest of the family to come out and see. And to this day, they can confirm what they saw. Well, the ones that are alive, at least. Oh, chilling.
Oh. So, sorry, what happened then? So
they saw a UFO.
I thought a lot of them died or something.
No, not yet. No, not yet.
So the point was so that long meandering story.
People have aged and passed into the netherworld.
Yeah. So,
they say it was triangle shaped and had 3 lights, one in each corner. When they got seriously close to the house, they really began to panic and ran back inside. The very walls were shaking. Dishes were breaking from the force of the vibrations going throughout the walls and floor. The dogs outside were barking louder than ever. It hovered over the cottage for several minutes before ascending back up and disappearing. These are all the people who are very conservative and rational, and they hate discussions regarding the supernatural. So I have no doubt in my mind they were telling the truth, and that's from Judith Grimes.
Well, if you're not convinced by that, what would convince you? That's what I would say to any skeptic out there. As a wise man once said, "What's wrong with you? Just someone tells you something, you can't just believe it."
Yeah, why are you so sceptical?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Maybe you're the idiot.
You think you're the cleverest bloke in the pub, don't you?
Yeah. You're not. It doesn't make you a big
fuck off and go on the quizzy.
Right. Let's go to scores.
Okay.
Or is there anything more you wanted to wrap up on?
No, I feel like I said enough.
Right, speaking of this, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I have quite weird dreams sometimes of there being UFOs, and it is quite spooky because you don't know whether they're good or bad. But I don't know that but aliens aren't particularly spooky, are they? Like they're just creatures, isn't it? Creatures from somewhere else.
We don't know, do we? We don't know what their intent is.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know. I'll be honest, rather than worrying about aliens, worry about the person sitting next to you on the bus, Neil. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to give it spookiness a 5.
Yeah, I think there's nothing massively inherently spooky other than that, I think it's just the premise that if something had enough technical sophistication to be able to cross whatever vast distances they would have come from, then they could, pretty much would be very superior to you, and there's something mildly spooky about that. But yeah,
they've not done it like they've not done.
Well, this is the thing, other than people talking about things like cattle mutilations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's stupid. Most of it, isn't it?
Just nonsense.
That's just you. You do the crop circles.
Yeah, of course I do.
I do the mutilations. You do the crop circles.
Yeah, divide and conquer. That's how we roll.
So we've got enough stuff to talk about in the podcast.
Yes. So yeah, I'm going to go in the middle as well. I'll give this a 5. Okay, I'm going to come to believability then. I'm going to give this one a reasonable one. It's not because I actually believe it's UFOs, and
So I'm sorry to jump in here, because I'm going completely against what we said we'd do with the scoring system.
Yeah, not sorry to prevent
but
yeah.
What are your feelings about UFOs? Like, do you think there's a chance that they're real, or it's all just nonsense, or what you kind of?
Okay, so genuine thoughts. No, I don't pay any heed to it at all. I think that. So, is it possible that there's alien life, or there is other life other than just people on Earth?
Yes,
yeah, absolutely. The universe is vast.
Definite. Yeah.
It's not definite, but it's. I think over the vastness of the universe, it seems incredibly probable to me. However, given the known laws of physics and given the vast distances involved, and yes, I get that there could be various ways around, yada yada. But
no, I agree. Like when you even realise how. I remember I was reading, I think it was Bill Bryson's book of everything or whatever, and it was like the universe is massive, but like a really good way of looking at it is if the sun is at the start line of like 100-meter race, like Earth is about 10 meters from that start line, and Pluto's about 3.5 miles down. It's huge.
And anywhere where you'd have other intelligent life would be kind of like, I mean, I don't even know on those scales what you'd be talking. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like the other end of the Earth. Or something.
So the only way so it can't happen with any conventional means. We know like that wouldn't happen. It would only be if they could manipulate gravity or like.
Well, I mean,
or space time.
Some technology that's completely beyond our ken, that exploits laws of physics in ways that we couldn't know about. Which is yes. The point is, it's a bit like when you get into the religious arguments. Once you get into the realms of pseudoscience or philosophy or kind of like theology, you can excuse anything. Oh well, it was magic. Oh, God did it.
Yeah.
It's advanced science, which is indistinguishable.
Died for all our sins, Neil.
That was his choice, and
exactly.
And for me, I feel if I don't get a bit more sinning in, then frankly he's wasted.
He died for nothing, yeah.
So I give him more bang for his buck,
Exactly. I'm a high quality sinner.
Each to their own, So we're just trying to honour that sacrifice. That's how I see it.
I'm currently coveting someone and killing them at the same time, so
keep confused. Sorry, I forgot we'll go with that. But So the other thing for me, I guess, is that like again, you always come back to with these things. What's their end game? So okay, well they just want to observe to see what's going on. If you're at that advanced level scale, yeah, it might be vaguely interesting. You could track down us in this remote corner of the universe that we live in. But you've got better stuff to do. Would you come down and announce yourself? Okay, you could argue that they wouldn't want to interfere with our progress or whatever, like some Star Trek episode.
Or Vulcans.
What it comes down to for me, Chris, is a bit like when you're very young and you sort of start getting into those things about, but what created everything, and God did. Well, then what created God? Once it gets beyond the realms of what you can sort of know anything about, I think you just kind of well, my reaction anyway is to sort of say, well, yeah, I don't, it's not. It's
don't matter. I'm going to go and have a sandwich.
Well, exactly. So, is it probable that aliens have visited Earth? No, I don't think it is probable, and there's no real evidence.
What about all of the evidence about ancient aliens?
Yeah, it's possible.
Could it be, Neil? Could it be?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did the pyramids, didn't they?
Did the pyramids?
Yeah, did the pyramids? Did the Sphinx? Did the Druids?
Big Ben.
Did Atlantis? Yeah, Big Ben.
The Gherkin.
The Gherkin. Yeah. The Shard,
Do you know what I joke about the History Channel because it's ridiculous, but
well, that's the fact that they choose to call themselves the History Channel, which is stupid.
Yeah, I know that's.
They call themselves the Lunatic Fringe Channel. Then that's absolutely fair play to you. More power to your elbow.
You know what people? My new documentary on ancient Rome didn't go too well. Right, let's do some more stuff about aliens and Nessie's an alien. But I do really want to try and get a voiceover job to replace the guy who goes, "Could it be?" on the History Channel.
He's just asking questions, Chris. He's just saying, could it be? And yeah, it's that thing between probability and possibility, isn't it? Yeah, it's always possible if you really want to get philosophical about it.
The thing is, right, so what's happened? I mean, I'm kind of easy about UFOs. I don't think about it that much, to be honest. I wouldn't.
People are welcome to keep their open mind on it, and that's absolutely fine.
I would say that it's improbable, but I have an open mind. I'm certainly no Tom DeLonge when it comes to this kind of thing. The Blink 182 guitarist or whatever, who's completely gone off the deep end. He makes Aykroyd look like I don't know. David Attenborough.
Somebody okay. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't really know too much about Blink 182, but
I do hugely. I'm a Blink 182 head.
Are you a Blink?
Yeah. Well, I'm a Blink 182 stan, which is actually the worst of all of the ex-Soviet states.
Right, coming soon to pleasure. Right, anyway, so believability, for all of the above. So again, it's not just about what I believe; it's around what other people believe, and it's the fact that there's actually some decent sort of video evidence. Again, I think it's an optical illusion. Certainly, with any of these things, and you can say, "Well, how can you prove that?" Well, you can't. But jumping straight to, well, it's unexplained and therefore.
But Neil, could I counter that?
You can
Could I
counter it
counter
when you
that
get to your
with-
own score. But go on.
Yeah, but I'd like to counter it now with saying, why can't you just believe it?
Yes. Do you know what you've that's an excellent counter. That's the
Checkmate.
classic believer. Yeah. I know, our best friend, the little fellow, is like, well,
Tips the table over.
Yeah. What's to believe? So anyway, I'm going to round that up as 6.
6.
30 seconds, Chris.
So,
keep it concise.
yeah, like yourself.
Well, yeah, if you didn't interrupt me, fucking every.
Stop interrupting me now. God, it's so rude. I believe that he genuinely. Well, I find it very difficult not to believe a cat detective, so I'm giving it a 9.
Fair enough.
Next question.
Next question, right? Reach.
Well, I've never heard of it.
And you're in Turkey, so.
And I'm in Turkey.
I would have thought it would be what they were talking about. This.
Yeah. You just got a massive 100-foot high poster of Erdogan, and then next to it, a big thing of a UFO conference. Yeah. No, I've not heard of it. And I'm in Turkey, and like it's not the water cooler talk that you think it would be. So I'm gonna have to give it a 4. No, that's too high. What am I talking about? 2. I'm giving it a 2 for Reach.
Yeah, I think this is a low one for visual. Well, it's not going to be as low.
4.
Because
Fucking hell, talk about generous. I've got my holiday mind on.
It has generated a bit of discussion around the internet, but how long it's going to... I mean, to be honest with you, there's such thin gruel in the whole UFO sightings thing. I think this one will persist, but as an urban legend itself, I don't think it'll spread outside of that community. So you go looking for it, you're going to find.
I think they're not leaning heavily enough on the fact that there's a cat detective involved.
No, there is that. But I mean, apparently it's becoming bigger in Turkey. It was 10 years ago. Maybe it's peaked and it's crested the wave now. But so on that basis, I'm going to give it a 5.
I'm thinking that maybe we could write this as maybe Studio Ghibli film, a cat UFO detective. Quite nice. Get Pierce Brosnan to be the cat or something. Lovely.
Yeah, that could work. You could do a bit of singing, couldn't he? He was good in that in Mamma Mia.
Was it?
Lovely voice.
I've never seen Mamma Mia.
No, I've only heard Adam and Joe did the clips of him singing.
Lovely Irish voice.
No, he's completely out of tune. He's like,
well, that was quite out of tune.
Tom Waits, yeah, it was pretty bad. No, even worse than that. Right, okay.
Mate, that was my best. That was my best try.
Well, So, narrative premise.
Have you been? Are you keeping chilies in your boxes or something? You've been a bit spicy.
Yeah, maybe I've been rubbing it down there every once in a while. Keep things
alive.
Yeah. Something's got to help.
Do you think that might be? Do you think that might be something to do with your night terrors?
It's possible.
Maybe.
Is it going to stop me doing it? No.
So I'm not going to bother equating the two. Thanks very much. I'd rather you didn't. Yeah. Right, what's the next?
Back away from that. Right, narrative premise. So, it's not a strong one here for me.
Well, there isn't a narrative. Yeah, there's barely a premise.
Well, you got two little fellas.
Well, cat detective hunts UFOs in gated community.
Yeah, well, there you go. What's not to like? What's not?
Well, that's basically isn't that? I mean, that sounds like a better kind of idea than the film The Watch, where Richard Ayoade turns out to be an alien.
Oh, really? I haven't seen it. Is that a fairly recent one?
I mean, it's probably 10 years old now.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know.
It's okay. Do you know what? Like, I think pretty much anything with Richard Ayoade in is very watchable because he's a very charismatic guy.
Matt Berry, I can watch him do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Narrative premise. So, I would say there's not really much to this. It's interesting. The whole UFO. I mean, UFO is a broader piece. That's kind of interesting, but again, it's really just there's not just aliens in the sky. They never seem to do anything. So Yeah, it's good. Weaker one there for me. I'm going to give that a 3.
Okay.
Chris, now's the premise.
So it's UFOs. That's fine. I mean, UFOs in themselves are a strong premise, so you can't ever give it too low a score. I like the fact that it's not American / Eurocentric. I like the fact that, because Istanbul's an important city and it's got, a huge amount of history. So I like the fact that they're not just like, he's coming and like the UFOs, they're all like looking at US places, because that's kind of what, and I think that's American exceptionalism. So yeah, I like the fact. I love the fact that the cat detectives involved.
Yeah.
Mouse Meowsington.
Meowsington third. Yeah.
PI.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a scoop. Yeah, I like the film noir elements of having the cat detective. So I think
made up in your own head. Those are good. Yeah.
So now for me, it's an 8.
Okay, there you go. It's amazing what you can do when you just make stuff up. Right, so that's good. So let's have a look.
Hello, have you ever seen the internet?
Okay, that's 43. That's pretty good.
So that's right in the middle of the bell curve, isn't it?
Yeah. Right in the middle.
Finally.
Finally,
had a nice average score for
you just get so many extremes just all the time. Constantly hopping between low and high. It's finally something in the middle. Right.
An average score for an average podcast.
Yeah.
Below average podcast.
Well, I think on that note.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. I'm not sure how this will turn out. Neil's got a bit of work to do if he's editing it. I get a feeling he might push that on to me. So I'm going to go and get involved with a pack of dogs on the beach and then watch the football.
Don't forget your field research later on in the week.
Mate, like I'm always, my head's on a swivel for any... they don't even call them UFOs anymore, do they? They've kind of changed it.
They're fly-sows, I believe. Flying saucer, yeah. Seeing the fly-sow action, bruv.
Where are you from?
On TikTok.
Where you talking? I'm going to go look at some fly-sows.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see the cat detective, go see some fly-sows.
Get down to Istanbul. Fine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Moo. Right. Cool. All right. Well, take care, everyone. And herb.legends.podcast@gmail.com. Don't bother. And we will see you next week.
Goodbye.